Welcome back to Stinchfield Tonight. I'm Beau Davidson, live in Orlando, Florida. You know, there have been many developments in the area of health recently with news about Tylenol, autism, a deal with Pfizer, and an executive order on cancer research. And joining us now is world-renowned doctor and chief scientific officer at the wellness company, Dr. Peter McCullough. Dr. McCullough, thank you so much for being with me tonight. You know, last week the Trump administration and his Secretary of HHS, Bobby Kennedy, made big news with their announcement linking Tylenol among pregnant women to autism in children and opening the door also additionally a link among vaccines. Tell us a bit about this announcement and what it means. Break it down for us.
Well, that press conference, I think, was significant. It was the first time we've had one on autism in decades. The last president ever even mentioned autism was LBJ in the 60s. Now, Trump led with the vaccines, which I think he's right. Childhood combination vaccination as a risk factor for the development of autism. There's over 100 papers supporting that now. Conversely, 13 papers show children who take no vaccines whatsoever in the modern day have little or no autism, and Trump emphasized this. The Tylenol paper referred to by Kennedy and Macri, that's a Prada paper. That's a mixed review. Some studies showed a linkage. Others showed that Tylenol was protective. So the 2015 FDA warning on Tylenol and ADHD is fine. I think pregnant women should try to avoid Tylenol and all drugs. A leading cause of use of Tylenol in pregnancy is actually, again, taking vaccines. So I think women ought to rethink vaccines during pregnancy. American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology says it's not Tylenol, and I agree.
Well, Dr. McCullough, we've seen a pretty aggressive pushback among Democratic lawmakers, the pharmaceutical industry. What do you think it is about all these forces that are so hesitant to even breach this issue, which, as you aptly mentioned, hasn't been talked about since LBJ?
I think it's the vaccine industry. Remember, it's $100 billion. It's free of liability since 1986. It's highly protected by the pharmaceutical companies and the medical establishment. We saw this all the way through the COVID vaccines.
Well, Dr. McCullough, obviously the questions of vaccines aren't just about children and the autism rates. We have mounting evidence that the COVID-19 mRNA vaccines are doing long-term damage to the health of Americans. What can individuals do to mitigate against the possibility of any long-term effects?
Everybody ought to consider getting a blood test, a measurement of the antibodies against the spike protein, strongly prognostic. If over 1,000 units per ml, I'm telling my patients to take the ultimate spike detox from the wellness company. This is the only evidence-based, peer-reviewed, scientifically supported approach. You need to take it for about a year or so to reduce the burden of spike protein in the human body.
Dr. McCullough, we've talking a lot about the New World screwworm over the last few months, and now health officials in California are raising some red flags about the possibility of it spreading to humans. I don't know anything about this, so please educate me on it. Talk to us about the New World screwworm and why people should be having some growing concerns about it.
There's already been a few human cases, Beau. This is what we know. The USDA closed the southern border to Mexican beef. This is a very aggressive fly that can deposit its eggs in beef. If the flies spawn in the United States, if they settle in a human wound like a diabetic foot ulcer, these larvae, as you show, grow and they become very big and aggressive. They have to be removed surgically. Early on, they can be killed with ivermectin or other anti-parasitic drugs like the wellness company Parasite Cleanse. But I think it's a good move that we're closed the border to this screwworm-infected beef. And people ought to look at getting high-quality sources of beef. Wellness Company has Wellness Farms, where we guarantee none of that in the products from Wellness Farms, which are U.S.-based and highly controlled.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. McCullough, finally, we got about a minute left. Let's talk about the recent Trump executive order with cancer research and his deal with Pfizer. What's to like about these deals, and what's maybe shortcoming or not to like about them? Or is there anything not to like about them?
Well, we want to see innovation and new products for sure. Pfizer doesn't need our money to do that. But, Pfizer's big horse, Eliquis, was basically going to face its generic competition, Xarelto, this month. So Eliquis was about to be gutted. Pfizer maneuvered, and now they've got a big injection of U.S. dollars.
Well, Dr. McCullough, thank you so much for your expert wisdom always in scientific research.